Hello! Happy Tuesday! We're back in Pyanodons. Oh, excuse me. Just a reminder that Thursday is the Thanksgiving holiday in the US, so I'm not going to be streaming on that day. I'm going to be visiting my mother, eating turkey. Alright, so last week we made some progress on post-Chemsci things. We upgraded our rocks and set up this additional petroleum gas build for titanium and this additional anthraquinone for hydrogen peroxide, and hopefully that will help with some of our bottlenecks around the base. It does seem like we're having a little bit of an acid gas issue again, so that is something I'm going to have to think about. Because sulfuric is only going to get more and more in demand, I think. Yeah, sulfuric is stopped on acid gas. So the rock build we did is still waiting for the quality of rock food to buffer enough for the first train load. That shouldn't take too much longer. And once we start getting more rocks coming through, and I talked about this last week, but because rocks have been kind of broken, we've been relying on formic acid here, which is also currently stopped because there's no sulfuric. But that has been a bigger sulfuric sink than it's supposed to be for our formic acid. So that will help with some of our sulfuric demand, but I do think we're going to have to look more into acid gas and expanding that a little bit more again. But if we check our to-do list today, the only thing on the to-do list is wax. All right. Oh yeah, I was working on that. That's the whole reason we figured out rocks were broken, was because bees were broken due to broken rocks. If we check, it looks like the bees are running again. They, well, nope, they're going to be out of rocks very shortly. So they were running, but until the rock food gets delivered and the rocks really get themselves moving, the bees are going to remain a little bit broken. I think I have the stuff in my inventory for wax. I do. I don't remember what wax recipe I decided on, though. So let me get back to YAFC here. All right, wax is... Oh, I said Ulrich's. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Ulrich's to honey and then honey to wax. I don't know why this is the one I decided on, but I trust past me, so we're going to go with it. And this loops... Okay, yeah, this loops its honeycomb. Cool. So this shouldn't be too bad of a build to get set up. I think we can just jump right into it. We may as well, while we're waiting for other stuff to while we're waiting for other stuff to finish accruing. I guess I'll just do wax right over... Oh, I did starch here. But we can also do wax here. Yeah. This will be easy enough. And wax is something that we need for the advanced castings, by the way. That's what we're prepping for. Is being able to start making advanced castings. All right, so this is gonna want Ulrichs. And then the Ulrichs get fed out here. This is going to be our output of the wax itself. And that's going to be fed basically directly from one of these barreling machines. Those barrels that feed this barreling machine come from 6 bees doing wax barrels from honey barrels. And they all just output I think these can just feed each other. Because the output of this one is going to be the honey barrels. And then the other side of honey barrels is... nothing. There's no other side of honey barrels. Yeah. So this one just goes like that, and that's our input to each of these. Or I could route the belt on the other side and avoid the red inserters, but I don't care enough. Alright, so this now needs the honey in, and the honey in comes from a centrifuge. And then the centrifuge outputs its combs, which meet up with the Ulrichs. and feeds these guys that are making honeycomb. What's the input? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then each of these gets some honeycomb to start with. The Ulrichs will come around. Oh, I can't load the barrels into this until it gets the honey. Perfect, the Ulrichs are here. I actually think 2 of these is enough for a half a belt. Oh, I need to actually route the output of these. That would help. There we go. So as these make honey, we'll see them spit out honeycomb. We'll barrel that honeycomb. And then we'll spit out the... Sorry. We'll remove the honey from the honeycomb, barrel that honey. We'll put those barrels into these machines, and these ones are going to turn barrels into wax, and then we unbarrel the wax. And that's it. That's 9 wax a second right there. Which is not a lot of wax a second. But is, well, I guess I should have done it, like, a little bit. I guess I could have done it, like, 50% bigger, but I think that's as big as I could do with the current Ulrich build until I upgrade the Ulrichs. But yeah, that's basically, I mean, it's 90% of running this, so not quite 2.5 sand castings per second. It'll be, 2.25 sand castings a second, because that'll be the only thing running off the wax, at least in the short term. But this is also a very easy to scale build, right? And this is scaled based off of the availability of like silicon and silicon carbide. I went through all of that in YAFC last week, I think, so I'm not going to repeat it. I'm going to trust that past me did this correctly. Which I know is dangerous, but... Alright, we do have wax, which means we should now be able to start barreling. And, oh, I did the thing. I always do this with barrelers specifically. Whoops. I did it up here too. I did it up here too. Empty barrel cannot be smelted. That's a weird error. Well, there might be enough barrels in this loop. Or at least it might be as good as it's going to get. Just to be on the safe side, let's do this. Let's throw these... Whoops. Not like that. Let's throw the barrels in there. Yeah, those are backing up there. We don't really have a spot for empty barrels to back up. Like, all that can happen with this is it will back up wax. But... Here, let's do this. And that way, if we do need to buffer barrels, they can buffer, the system can figure itself out, instead of doing direct insertion between those two barreling machines. Alright, this is going to take a long time, but it will be wax, eventually. How are we doing on Vrock food? We got a delivery of Vrock food, so Vrocks should be turning themselves back on now. I see... Oh, it just got here. Alright, so we have the food moving along the belt, just barely. And then as these pull through... we're going to start to see these machines turn on. What I want to watch for as this loop turns on is if we have enough stuff in the loop. I think moss is still overrepresented, right? Yeah, we set moss to a much lower value. So it's going to take a little while for all the moss to get cleared out of the loop. But we might want to, you know, double some of these values if, basically if buildings... If things aren't well enough distributed around the loop, then buildings aren't going to be able to grab things when they need them, and things will starve. So I want to make sure that we're not going to be in that position. Yeah, like this hasn't gotten another quality rock food. And we can see the rock food is kind of bunched up. And part of that's because we're still clearing the moss out of the loop, right? So it's just going to take a little while. For the food to be able to be distributed evenly, because right now it gets stuck behind this big loop of moss. So I wanna give it a couple times through the loop to see if things are starting to stabilize or not. But probably I should just like double every value. So like instead of 93, make this 186. Instead of 279, make this 558. Instead of 62, that's 124. Instead of 111, that's 222. Instead of 31, that's 62. Instead of 31, that's 62. Instead of 99, that's 198. And 248 becomes 496. Yeah, and here's where we see if we actually have room to do that. There is still lots of space in the loop, so I think the answer is yes, there's room for all this stuff. We just kind of have to wait for it all to catch up. And of course, we still have way more moss than we want to have in the loop, so that's going to cause issues as well. So like 200 plus 500, that's 700, so like 820, 200, like 700, 820. Okay. So yeah, we've got like definitely more on the inner loop than the outer loop. I could maybe swap. I'd have to head up there if I wanted to swap it. But I could maybe swap, like, rock food and phalangy just to balance it out a little bit. Although it seems like it has naturally balanced itself. It also seems like it wants more barrels, but that's fine. Yeah, all right. There's plenty of stuff on the inside of the loop then. Yeah, and this one's still waiting for a rock food. But everything's really clumped because we just increased the numbers. So, like, as we pull rock food from this big clump, rock food will then get inserted in random places around the belt, right? So we want to be... In theory, it'll get more evenly distributed as time goes on. Yeah. Bedding... Is bedding being put on? It is. It's just, again, it's still clumpy. So I think it's going to take a little while for everything to kind of declump. But all the machines are on, at least. And each of these will craft, what, 8 rocks when it runs? Nice. Output is also an issue. Yeah, you know what? I want to move... What do I want to move? I think I need to move something to the outside of the belt because the, these guys are struggling to fully empty. You could see just how many, rock cocoons are ending up on the inside of the belt here. How empty the outside is by the time we loop around to that edge. So I think it's gonna have to be... let's do rock food, but I have to walk up there. Actually, I can check this real quick in YAFC. This says we're only pulling 4 cocoons a second. Okay. Oh, wait, no. But in terms of our amount that we put on the belt, that's accounting for like 372 sort of slots. And that's on the same side of the belt as the native flora. Ooh, okay. This may be the problem. So yeah, let's pull some stuff to the outside of the belt. Oh, went too far north. Because, yeah, these are struggling to empty. The other thing I could do is I could put stack inserters here so that these come out stacked. And that's actually a really good idea. Because that'll help with some of our density issues on this belt. And then the other thing I should do is just move something. I guess we'll move the food. And then hopefully over time the food on the inside just gets picked up as the system just kind of grabs it and uses it. Because, yeah, the inside is definitely still crowded. I'm seeing the, This is having trouble staying on. These are having trouble. See, this needs to be cocoons, less than 372. Yeah, the food on the inside is slowly getting picked up, which is good. Yeah, it doesn't have cocoons. The cocoons are getting more evenly distributed now. Slowly but surely. How are we doing on this? That is staying more caught up as well. We might have done it. Stacking the cocoons might have been the thing. Honestly, I could stack everything that feeds into this, couldn't I? And maybe I should. Just for the compactness. moss, and the last one is normal rock food. Yeah, and everything will start coming through stacked now, and that'll just, again, it'll save some space in the sushi belt loop and help everything be a little bit better buffered. Yeah, these are already coming out stacked. And then probably as the stacked things make their way up here, might make sense to move more things to the outside of the belt. Maybe the phalange as well. Looking good, though. Seems like it's running. This one's not. But that's the last one, and I don't think it actually can run full-time. I don't remember. Actually, what does YAFC say? The ratio's changed. Okay, YAFC says we should expect this one to run full-time, but we should expect these to stop, these to back up and turn yellow. Which they're not quite doing yet, although I do see the arms are being disabled by control behavior on and off, so that is good. So yeah, I think we're just waiting for enough cocoons to make it down. Oh, there we go. This turned on while I was looking at other stuff. I think we're pretty good here. I think this is working, and I think as we get the other stacks up here, this will get less crowded and will appear to work better, which is also good. Yeah, I think the new rock build is fine. How's Wax doing? Has that build broken yet? Or are we still running here? That looks good. Oh, science is... Ugh, how long has science been broken for? Let's figure out which science pack is dead. 50-50, it's Logi or Chem. It appears to be Chem. That means we're just wasting vat brains. Alright. So Chem Science is right down here. Of course, complex circuits. Surprising no one. Complex circuits. Yeah, those haven't even run anytime soon. Or anytime recently, I should say. This is finally running. Good. We've been having issues with Aramid, which has been slowing down our silicon processing. So yeah, that's gonna be an issue. I think if our titanium is fixed, then aramid should be fixed as well. No, titanium is stopped on molybdenum, not on titanium. Alright, well the special alloy is finally fully buffered, so that's a good sign. That at least means this isn't going to be requesting molybdenum very often. Oh, but this is halted. What did I break? What did I do wrong? Muddy sludge, muddy sludge, muddy sludge, out to here. Ooh, which is not a high priority output. Okay. That is probably what I did wrong. Because we do have some intentional muddy sludge production, but it's closer to the consumers than this is. Which means that if this isn't flagged as high priority, then Cybersyn is never going to dispatch this for us. Alright, that should hopefully get pulled from now if we look for muddy sludge. Yeah, it's pretty much just this one that's fully backed up. Both of my requester stations are below their thresholds, which is wild to me. Alright, Sea Sponge is... whatever. Okay, this is log. Which is just running. Were we full on logs? Whoa, okay. So this may be the issue, is that I don't know if we have a muddy sludge void anywhere. I kind of assumed that moss and logs would always be in high demand, and that they would just use all my muddy sludge. But as we can see, we've actually caught up on those, which is gonna cause issues for the base. Alright, so I need to make a... You made a log void that's just a muddy sludge void in disguise? Yeah. I mean, I'm also making oxygen from electrolysis up here. This is all electrolyzers. So, like, I could electrolyze the muddy sludge again. I'm actually surprised. I do have this running, which is basically a log void, but it doesn't use a ton of logs. But I guess this is what happens when, when everything has finally had a chance to catch up on its buffers. Although I know some things are broken, right? Because we've had some breakages. Like, this is missing latex because we're still waiting for Vrox to catch back up. So it's hard to tell if things are actually, like, to a broken level of imbalanced, or if it's just that a couple of things are slow and that's slowed down log demand. Like, trits I know pull logs, yeah, but not a lot of them. But yeah, if I don't figure out a muddy sludge void, then this is not turning back on. So I do have to actually solve this problem. I can't just stand here staring at it. I can definitely set up, and maybe that's what I should do, is just set up like a bunch of electrolyzers and do some muddy sludge to O2. Because oxygen is always in demand. And I'm pretty sure right now I'm just voiding hydrogen so that I can produce oxygen. So I may as well do it while also voiding muddy sludge instead of... I think that's a reasonable choice. So let's say we want to void, like, I don't know. I'm making up a number. We'll see if it looks reasonable. Oh, yeah, 100 is totally reasonable. All right, maybe not 1,000, but... And then we want to add a void for the extra water. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's 3 to 2 electrolyzers to washers. I mean, I can kind of build this at whatever scale I want. 500 seems excessive. Let's say 200 for now. And if it's too busy, then we can always expand it. Looks like we could do up to 1,000 on a single outfall, if we care about such things. 12 electrolyzers, 8 washers, and a partridge in a pear tree. And then we'll have to go around all of the muddy sludge stations, which fortunately isn't that many of them, and set all of those up with the right overflow logic for the void, because right now none of them are set up with that. That is all of our stuff? Yeah. Just waiting for a few more belts. We probably have enough. Oh, we don't have yellow inserters? What's wrong, bots? No circuits at the mall. Uh-oh. No solder. No solder because no lead plates. No lead plates because... Because I accidentally disconnected a whole bunch of stuff from power down here. Oops. Alright, we're gonna go fix that. I probably did this when I pulled the geothermal out of here. There we go. Now, where do I want to do a muddy sludge void? Muddy sludge is kind of everywhere, so I don't think it really matters where I do the build. Someplace reasonably central might be nice, but I don't know if there is such a place. I think right here is fine. Actually, I don't even need another place for a station. I can just do it right here. So this is a void, put it on the right network, and request, and low priority. All right. So the muddy sludge goes into a top-up valve. Top-up valve into a tank. And then this tank is what runs all of the electrolyzers. All right. And then output is... Oh, I forgot to we have an oxygen output. That's all right. I'll just make this longer. Okay, Twitch wants to run an ad. I'm going to let Twitch run an ad. I'm going to get myself a little bit more water during the ad break. I recommend everyone else do the same. Take the opportunity to hydrate, stretch your legs, take care of yourselves as human beings. And when we come back from the break, we will finish this Muddy Sludge Void. Shouldn't take too long. I'll see everyone shortly. Welcome back, folks. I appreciate everyone sticking around through the break. I did absolutely nothing during the break time, so we're right back where we were. Right before the break, I had realized I need another station here, so we're going to go ahead and do that while I'm thinking about it. Because we are going to have an output here, which is oxygen. And then each of these is going to have water. as well as O2 out. Okay. And then water. I want a buffer on water, just like we have a buffer on the incoming muddy sludge. We need to overflow from that water buffer to our outfall. Overflow mode. Where do we have room for an outfall? And, oh, all of these also spit out a... Ugh. That's fine. And then all of below that, we're going to have our mixers, which turn the soil back into more muddy sludge using the exact same water as an input. And this is why we have a tank here with a top up so that we have a little bit of room for everything to loop cleanly here. Each of these takes 2.5 per second. Okay, I think I just need to power this thing, and it is good to go. Oh, whoops, that's an output. So that should be that, and I think that is fine. Now we just need to start turning all of our muddy sludge sources here into set up to properly overflow to this station. So we'll just go through the list. Oh yeah, borax is one. I'm just going to go through the list in CyberSyn. We're going to go around the building in a the base in a weird order because I think that list is like alphabetical or something, but at least that way we know we'll catch them all. All right. Borax output here. Let's grab from, I don't know, this one. Zinc, all right, that's not too far from us. Oh, that's an interesting layout. All right. Next. Plastic. Oh, that's easy. It's right here. This one is Nexalit. All right, back over on the other side of the base. That's a request. This one is Casein. And I guess I should do molybdenum while I'm over there. Since molybdenum is the one that sparked this whole endeavor. Oh, shoot. How did I thought I copied and pasted this to have muddy sludge. I just dropped the wrong one on a bunch of these, didn't I? Ugh. Alright. Yeah, I pasted that one fine. I must have... I don't know what I did. Okay, just one more. No, the next one doesn't need it because that one is our backup supply. So that's it. Everything's good to go. Muddy sludge can now be voided correctly. Yay! Rocks are halted. Rocks are halted because they don't have... Oh, yep. Turns out I unplugged that when I was messing with it. Alright, let's head back there then. Fortunately, that's an easy fix. Yeah, these are just unplugged. I didn't actually double check, I don't think, if I still had enough of those after the rock upgrade. No. We need a few more. We need 8 more, according to... Oh, shoot. That's also broken. Okay, I need 8 more sap extractors, because I didn't double check that when I did the rocks before. I'm going to go fix the train tracks first, because that's going to cause issues around the whole base if I don't. And... we'll see what other bugs we find while we're going through. Alright, the bots are going to bring me those sap extractors. How's silicon going? Silicon is running. It's just, you know, still going to be a bottleneck in this base for quite a while. Oh, hey, brakes are running. Cool. Yeah, electronics are going to be slow. These are also limited by MOSFETs, so they're limited by exactly the same stuff as science. I should set science to high priority. Because what I don't want is for circuits to end up going to this stuff right now instead of science. I would much rather prioritize science. We don't need huge amounts of mech parts 2 at the moment. It's a lower priority. Okay, we got our sap extractors. Let's go finish fixing rocks. Cool. That should do the trick now. 50 of those. So that should be able to keep up with the sap demand for the system. Didn't even think that was going to be a problem. I just forgot to double check if that changed size when we scaled the build. But yeah, these are all turning back on now. So that is excellent news. How is all of the stacked stuff doing? I can't even tell with some of these items that they're stacked, but they apparently are all stacked, so. Not up to here yet, though. Not quite up to here yet. But I can already tell just by the fact that some of them are stacked, like, we can clearly see we have more space on the belt for things to get put on as they're needed. So that is good. Cool. Yeah, in theory, this wants a few more barrels in the loop. I set it based on what I set it to, but I haven't seen anything being starved on barrels, so I think it's safe to just leave that as it is. Alright, I kind of don't know what to work on. Like, my next goals sort of involved us having this science available, and that's not happening right now. We could try to scale silicon more. Like, that's an option. I just hate to do it. Oh. It feels silly to expand this anymore when I know I'm going to get a better silicon tech, but I also, having actually looked at the, chem sci tech tree a little more, and understanding where silicon 2 is in the tree, which is not quick. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not quick. It might be worth expanding silicon at the current level. Because, like, we're also going to need silicon for... Oh, this is polycrystalline silicon, though, right? Yeah. What about crucibles? I don't think I have crucibles yet, and I think we need those for advanced castings as well. No, we don't. Okay, I don't know what I needed crucibles for, then. How are we doing on peroxide? Peroxide is not running because... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. It's not running because I'm an idiot. It's very much copy and paste error down there. I didn't hook up the pipes right. I saw immediately what was wrong with that. There we go. Excuse me. So these will use, okay, like 5.5 nickel plates a second for all of this peroxide. Do I ever get a peroxide recipe that isn't anthraquinone based? Doesn't seem like it. Xeno eggs contain a lot of fun enzymes and catalysts. Why just searching for... Oh, allowing you to get hydrogen peroxide and anthraquinone from xenos. Okay. But regardless, this is way in the future. This is, like, utility science. So, that is... I think the answer is no. It's all about anthraquinone production. Which is fine. All right. So once we, I was hoping to see that like hydrogen peroxide had started to accumulate, because that would maybe be the sign that I can turn antimony back onto the version that takes peroxide. I mean, I can do it anyway and just see what happens. Because, again, we have hopefully plenty of anthraquinone now, although we are apparently still limited by sulfuric acid. Maybe I should work on more acid gas. before we do that. Before we do antimony. 4 arums into 8 seeds, or 2 arums into 2 seeds. So we probably can't loop it if we're using this recipe. Although I definitely could make a build that uses this. Because when the arums... Oh, right now I don't even put the arums on belts. I only put the seeds on belts. Alright. I'll have to think about that. Coal bed gas, sure, we know that one. Biofilm is a new tech. This is a lot of acid gas. So I feel like this is maybe the one to do. So let's change this so that we do output arums in addition to the seeds. We have space for another station here, so we can do that. And then we'll set up... What building do I need to do this? Oh, it is a botanical nursery. Okay. Here, let's just check all of our numbers in YAFC, make sure we're... So the cadaveric arum seeds, we currently produce like 0.4 arums a second. Acid gas... YAFC does not like the arum recipe. It thinks it's expensive. It thinks the refined syngas recipe is cheap. Thinks the iron oxide recipe is cheap via pyrite. Which, like, sure... Yeah, I mean, this loop does just, like, slowly consume iron oxide and sulfur and spit out acid gas. That is indeed a thing. We have a big pyrite build. Yeah. This is iron oxide from, like... Oh, lol, it's not even correctly connected, so that's exciting as well. Because I'm an idiot, and I copied and pasted this wrong way back when. But this is like my low priority iron oxide from nitrobenzene. And also apparently... Yeah, I don't know why I have this many machines. Oh, because I had this scaled for I think for chlorine instead of nitrobenzene as the acid, or not acid, oxidizer. But maybe I do just build then a machine that like just breaks down pyrite into iron oxide and acid gas. I mean, that spits out a belt of... Although if I use stack inserters, we could go higher than that. I could do the 125 a second if I felt like it. We brought in a whole belt of pyrite, it would be 150 a second? Yeah, 12 machines. 36 a second output. That does work with stack inserters. Let's just build this. I'll make it a low priority acid gas source, so we're not just going to burn all of our iron into whatever. But... I already have something that's called a low priority acid gas source. What is this? Acid gas through refined syngas. Okay, and this is one that Yafsi thinks is fairly cheap. I just don't have a lot of refined syngas production right now. Like, I think this is it. It's really not that expensive. Syngas is super cheap. Like, we could definitely greatly expand this, and maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should just expand instead of going through pyrite. Do the... I lost it. Oh. Yeah, maybe we just make this bigger. Because right now we're only pulling 5 sulfur a second. Yeah, we could, like, triple this off of one belt of sulfur. Let's do that instead of messing with the pyrite route. So that means that we're going to need 10 gas processing units. And I'll probably have to expand refined syngas. Let's figure that out right now, too. Each of these uses 10 refined syngas a second. So if I have 15 of them, that will be 150 refined syngas per second. Each of these makes... We're currently making 70. Alright, so let's, like, triple it. And there's our buildings. I love it when the bots are quick. Makes my life easier. Alright, so refined syngas here. We're just gonna do a one of these, and a one of these, and a one of these. And that should do it. That on that front. Now we should be able to do the acid gas production as well. And we want to pull this out just a little bit. Okay. And then we have refined syngas coming in here. And then out the bottom, we can bring out the acid gas. And power the whole thing, and we're done. Yep, just gonna make sure everything outputs correctly. It looks like it all turned on. And everything is outputting correctly. Cool. So this will pull through up to a belt of... Yeah, up to a belt of sulfur. And should spit out a lot more acid gas now. Let's make sure we update YAFC. Do I not have this in YAFC? I never put this in YAFC in the first place. All right. All right, that's it. That's the whole build. I don't know why this wasn't in YAFC to begin with, but is this going to be enough to get our sulfuric unblocked? I don't know. We hope so. Because we really want to see anthraquinone running consistently. And we really want to see peroxide running consistently. This is only pulling like half a belt of nickel. So I'm a little concerned that we ended up running dry. Where's nickel processing? I mean, it's full. All right. Well, I'm not sure what would have caused that to be delayed. I mean, I can have it request a little more, and that'll probably just fix the problem. But I don't necessarily like solving every problem with bigger buffers, because this base has so many resources buffered all over the place. Alright, but we're now making peroxide quite a bit faster. We check the base. Yeah, obviously we're still... still catching up on peroxide demand. Also, apparently phosphoric acid? Oh, we're backed up on HF? Because it's not the fluorine that we're backed up on here. It's the hydrogen. Excuse me. All right, let's see if we can figure out why EFC isn't doing what I want to do here. So we have a station that has... No, we don't? It's got to be a misconnected... Oh, it is a misconnected. Look at that. It's hooked up to the output, not the input. There we go. Now we're getting 240,000. This should get a train issued. That should unblock our hydrofluoric void. Which will unblock phosphoric acid. Cool. It's always something. Might just take a minute for it to actually decide to pull from this station. It looks like there's a bunch moving around. Which also worries me. Push up the train limit on this. Yeah. Alright, that should get it going. Trains are busy again, which is a good sign. The depots are not totally backed up everywhere. Alright, we did get a delivery of that somewhere. Yeah, look at that. MOSFETs are running. And I have no idea if these are going to end up going to red chips or to one of the other MOSFET users, though. That is the issue. I mean, let's pop into YAFC again. So silicon wafers we're currently making here. That flue gas is not... No, it's not being voided here anymore. That's So that's fine. And I guess I could go up to... What is that? That's 0.25 a second. 5 machines. And prod speed impact 1.03125. Not quite 4 jaw crushers, or not quite a full jaw crusher, because I guess something prod, but how do I... What does this take? These take... .25 times 0.75. 0.1875 crushed quartz a second. This recipe makes 1 a second. Oh, 5 1/3. Ew. So if we wanted to actually balance this, we would need 16. which would end up being 3.3 silicon a second. I'm curious if this actually balances. 16 of those, 3 of those. Hey, look at that. Bringing in a whole belt of quartz ore, half a belt of electronic-grade silicon. Yeah? Do we make it stupid? Obviously bringing in a whole belt of quartz ore is like a... We're going to have to increase our quartz mining. And then we're definitely not making enough electronic-grade silicon. 4.5 graphite a second is like 12 coke. We might not be making enough graphite either, although we can improve that. This feels ridiculous, though. I mean, even just going to this feels ridiculous. Well, then there's this, right? Which is go up to, well, saturate our jaw crusher. It is a slight increase in our overall throughput. It doesn't require any major changes to the build. It's just a little bit more of the electronic grade silicon, which for us to get that up to 2.5 a second. I don't think we're currently using this in anything but silicon wafers. No. So we would want... even more than that. 2.6. .8. There we go. That would get us up to... 14 advanced foundries, 7 DDCs, 14 fluidized bed reactors, and 2 coal power plants. Yeah, let's do it. Let's upgrade to this scale. It's not a huge upgrade, but I think it'll fit where our existing builds are, right? Like, we don't have to drastically change our crushed quartz here. We aren't going to have to change... I think it'll all fit up here, right? Well, we've got 8 of those right now. And that will have to go up to... yeah, okay, 14 of them. 4 DDCs up to 7, that's not bad. And then 8 of these up to 14 as well. It's definitely like a refactor. And it's not going to be fun to squeeze it all into the existing space, but it'll fit. So I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to we'll refactor all of this for that scale. And we'll do that when we come back from the ad break, because it is ad break time again. I'm going to get myself a little bit more water during the break. I recommend everyone else do the same. And when we come back, we'll work on scaling silicon a little further, because that's one of our major bottlenecks. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for sticking around. A train is stuck. Oh, because I didn't do that. And oh, look, the whole thing is locked up. Why is the whole thing locked up? Wait a sec. What? I am an idiot, is why the whole thing is locked up. Okay. That's fine. We're going down there anyway. I didn't connect all the right pipes. I put the undergrounds in place, but not the pipes that actually connect the buildings. Fortunately, that should only take us a second to fix up. There we go. And then hopefully this tank is big enough to give these guys the breathing room they need so they can output their, Oh, how much, This spits out 20 soil a second. Which is not gonna work in this configuration, is it? Let's do... These are going to be stack inserters, and we're going to go on... Don't need them on this side anymore. Oh, actually, you know what? I bet I can make this work on this side after all, now that I just put all these up here. Can I? I can. Just barely. Yes, I can. Because we can output right here. And we will run... Here, let's get the rest of these out of the way. And then power will go right next to these guys. And then this needs to change. Yeah, this still needs to overflow. And we still want a little bit of a buffer on it. Cool. And then this belt gets moved. Six. And then this needs to do that. And that should get out all 20 per second. Which should let all of these turn on. And then hopefully with the overflow valves and the top-up valves, this is going to be able to work. My concern is that these guys are still kind of... They're catching up on a bunch of voided... on a bunch of soil. And we would have voided a bunch of water to go with that soil. So I'm hoping these guys can still catch up. I think it'll be fine. We'll check in on it. It does seem like it's working. Yeah, it's just taken a little while for these guys to catch up on all the backlog of soil. But I'm starting to see gaps on the belt. And those gaps will start to be filled by the other side of the belt, which means these will be able to start emptying. And it'll get itself to a stable point. Alright. Let's move on to silicon upgrades then, again. This is like the third time we've upgraded silicon, but... Oh, do I not have any more prod modules? Did I accidentally get rid of my prod modules? I did accidentally get rid of my prod modules. I have 3 of them. Alright, we're gonna have to go get those. Let's just, we'll just request those from the bots. As far as the other half of silicon goes, I think this is going to be a complete rebuild again, so... Let's just start tearing things down. So, first step is the silicon into 14 fluidized bed reactors. Actually, we should only need 3 of these to do half a belt, and that's all we need. Fluidized bed reactors make trichlorosilane, right? Yes. And these are just awful. These remain awful. All right, we'll do our hydrogen chloride input there. And then we'll do... You know what, actually? What if we do... I'm trying to figure out if I can get... Yeah. So we'll do our trichlorosilane output on this side. And then we're going to have hydrogen and out and HCl in up top. That works. That works. And then they also need an input inserter. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 7 more. Woo. We'll take the trichlorosilane out. That's important. The hydrogen is also important. So we'll want to take that out as well. Cool. And then the hydrogen chloride is an input. We'll figure that out. Powering these, I think they all just go like this. This is part of our hydrogen chloride like loop, and it's getting torn down. Like everything, like all the rest of this, it's getting torn down. We might keep part of the hydrogen chloride loop. I'm not sure, but most of this is just going away right now. So the second phase is 7 DDCs, which turn the trichlorosilane into pure trichlorosilane. With a bunch of ore byproducts. Oh, we're also going to need to probably increase this. Like, this needs to be doubled if we want to be pulling through this much silicon. We'll deal with that in a second. Alright, trichlorosilane out. I'm going to take it over to this side just because it's easier to bring through. This whole thing can go away. This is a weird recipe. It loops the hydrogen chloride, if we look at it. So I just need to bring in like an initial amount to start the loop. So 7 DDCs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. We're doing them vertically. Unfortunately. And we're probably going to want spaces between them. Let's just start with pure trichlorosilane. All right. I mean, we can kind of do whatever we want as far as our inputs and outputs here, can't we? It's not as bad as some other DDC recipes have been. Like... And then the output is going to be the pure trichlorosilane. So that's our output, and then we're also going to have a bunch of random ores, and we'll output those to not there. Bunch of random ores, which we have an output belt for down here. And that output belt is not changing. So that will be the pure trichlorosilane, which we can power. Yay. And then the last thing we need to do is we need 14 advanced foundries, which are going to turn the hydrogen and the pure trichlorosilane and heat into hydrogen chloride, which is our loop, and the electronic grade silicon. So electronic grade silicon. Our inputs and outputs on this are awful. But I wish I had taken a screenshot of how I had this set up before. All right, if we do that, and if we do that, then we can take these, but not forward. They have to go over. Like that. Okay. And let's actually take those one further. Then our outputs can be there with the belt coming down. And then our inputs come in the middle. Then that whole thing, it's mirrored. There we go. I could actually make this a little more compact. If I do this, because I have belt weaving, or pipe weaving with the niobium pipes, and then this becomes this. Yeah! How's that for atrocious? And then we just need to replicate that. Cool. This all needs to be connected up across the two sides. Let's get our actual silicon out. That's important. How much of this are we actually making? 2.8 per second. All right, that's like 2 of those guys. And hydrogen needs to be brought in from up here. And I need a pump because I need to convert between... Oh my god, these pipes! I knew these were long, but wow. Anyway, I need a pump because we can't connect the two different pipe kinds directly. So that's just doing that for us. So that'll be hydrogen down into those pipes. This outputs hydrogen chloride, and we want to get that connected up. And again, this needs an initial, like, amount of itself for... for a top-up. Oh, shoot! I left Yafsi on. Thank you. It's been a while since I've done that. Professional Factorio streamer. Alright, this should top up to 80%. Good. And then this feeds from here up to our input of HCl, which is gonna be here. And really, I can just, like, do this. Okay, so that should be pushing HCl up into these. These are all going to turn on. Cool. Yeah, these are turning on, and hydrogen shouldn't be ending up... Yeah, we're pushing the hydrogen through into these machines. Good. So these are spitting out the pure trichlorosilane now, and we need to take that and get it hooked up. Into these. Alright, so these just need their heat now, which I kind of forgot about when I did this build here. The thing that I think is going to happen is that this all needs to move. This... Yeah. I'm going to turn off requests to this, and I'm going to let this kind of... see if we can make this a little more compact. But I did turn off requests to this, so this will run out of inputs, and I'm going to have to rebuild this silicon build elsewhere. That's fine. I don't have space here to make it any bigger. But hopefully what that means is that I now have space up here before I connect this for the coal power plants. Maybe. Oh, it's so close. It's all right. We'll make space. Because what's this? Yeah, this is trichlorosilane out. I control where that goes. So that'll be heat. These should just connect to each other, right? I shouldn't need to do anything to let the heat flow through them. And then, okay, we're only using 0.5 coal a second. That's fine. Let's get this routed someplace where I can get the input. The spaghetti is real, but I think we're good. That'll get heat to those, and then on the other side, we do need to pull out ash. Do I have space to get an ash belt out on this side? I don't. We're gonna do this. Yes, it is mildly excessive, but I know that I'm gonna be able to run this belt through here. There we go. And power those. Can I get power? Not really. Alright, let's get power dropped in on these ones, and then I'll figure out how I want to route power to the ash outserters. Okay. And I think that's it. Like, we're waiting for things to heat up, obviously. But I think I've got all the right outputs in place. Enable if silicon is less than, what? This requests 30, so I want to keep it above, I don't know, 5,000? Sure. We'll say 5,000. All I'm doing here is getting rid of this build because we need to make it bigger, and there just isn't space to cram it in because I just rebuilt this other part. So I'm going to have to move some things around. So I'm just making sure that this can drain its inputs and all the silicon gets used. Because I probably need to, like, triple this build, because we're not just using silicon for this, we're also using it for silicon carbide and some other stuff, so we do need to Oh, this was all powered from that side. Oops. There we go. Alright. Until this gets up to temp, I can't really tell if it's all totally correct or not. It's probably correct. I don't think I moved any of the pipes that had fluids in them after they were filled. Because this build loops, like if the fluids get weird, then the whole thing is kind of busted. So I wanted to make sure that I had not, like, screwed up our ratios. I don't think I did. Alright, as far as expanding this goes, we need to make... This wants a minimum of 7 silicon a second, and plus we need it for other things. And previously we were building 4 a second. Do we just go full... Oh, this would be such a ridiculous... Well, it's not a ridiculous build from, like, a scale standpoint. Just getting 30 a second sand and 30 a second coal dust over rails is going to be annoying. But let's do it. Let's build to that scale. So I want 8 high-pressure furnaces. And I will find a spot where I can do this build because there's not room down there where the existing build is. Oh, good. Silicon wafers are broken on aramids still. Aramid is still molybdenum. Did I not get molybdenum fixed? Gonna be sad if I didn't fix my molybdenum. Oh, it's running. All right. It's just not yet caught up to our needs. This is, yeah, every step of this that takes prod is prodded, and it is scaled to pull in a whole belt of ore as its input. So, like, there's really nothing we can do to make this go faster, other than scaling up to a second belt of molybdenum ore, which, like, is an option, but isn't a fun option. At least until we do grab red belts, right? Because right now, anytime we want to do like 2 belts of anything, it pretty much involves stack inserters. So until we get red belts researched. Oh, science turned back on. Heck yeah! That means we got enough red chips for science to turn back on, which is impressive in and of itself. Alright, I gotta drop off the prod modules down at the other silicon stage. Oop, are these starting to turn on? Did I see... Oh, no. Oh, I never grabbed the... Oops. I thought I... Alright, I'll have to come back by here with a couple of factories. It doesn't matter anyway, because we don't have aramids, because molybdenum was broken. So we will come back to that. I think we'll do new silicon right down here next to uranium, because why not? How's uranium doing, by the way? Yellow cake is running. Cool. The second step is disabled by control behavior because we have fuel cells backed up. We have lots of fuel cells backed up. Okay. Yeah, and this is just sitting here decaying. I need a bigger storage here for... I can do that, actually, right? I should have a deposit? Yeah. Let's drop a deposit in instead. There we go. We probably averaged some decay amounts when we did that, but whatever. And that should let this, yeah. And then down here, we are running. These are not running because this is still buffering plutonium peroxide? Yeah. I changed the chain so that we prioritized these, because I noticed that these were not running consistently, and that meant that we were backing up on some of these isotopes that we don't want. So, unfortunately, it seems like all of our plutonium-239 ended up here, and all of our plutonium-240 ended up in here. So, maybe what we do is this. And that way they all... cycle through the system, and they all are given the opportunity to be passed to... all given the opportunity to be passed to different different machines over time. Because, yeah, these are running now, because we're finally pushing some 239 through. And that'll just... We're basically sushi belting it. Which I guess is the other thing I could do instead of this whole mess, is I could make the whole thing one sushi belt. And just let these machines grab whatever they think they need. No idea. But this should do a better job now of being able to actually balance all the different isotopes, which is what we care about. Yeah, so this takes in 242, this takes in 239 and 241, 239 and 240, 241 and 242. Okay, so yeah. That's the other thing we have to, I guess, be careful of, is the 242 could all get sent up here and get turned into, I guess, 241 and 239. But then those get used in other recipes, like this one. Oh, which makes more 242. Oh, geez. Who knows? I certainly don't. But yeah, hopefully having this kind of doing a sushi belt thing, though, will help it more consistently balance itself, because it seems like we're backing up on a couple of isotopes, and I'm assuming that's because we're running things through in an unbalanced way. We'll see if that can fix it. And then this should eventually back up on these, and we'll run more of it through here again. But for now, the system is basically catching up on this backlog of isotope balancing. Yeah. I want to leave space to expand this build, because I feel like that's going to be a thing. And then we'll go north from there. And this is where I'm going to do the new silicon build. Yeah, at this scale, and this is going to be a fairly large scale build, we're going to have individual stations coming in for basically everything. We're gonna have one for the pure sand, one for the coal dust, and then one going out for silicon. And everything's going to be using stack inserters. I'm probably going to have to go back to the base and get more stack inserters because I don't keep that many on me. Let me find someplace that we have basically exactly this. And I don't know if we even have enough pure sand to keep up with this much silicon, so that might be a thing that we have to figure out too. But one solid drop-off, two solid drop-offs, both of which are going to be replaced with this design. This is going to request pure sand. And we want it to stay, like, fully buffered. Oops, I managed to pick up a plutonium when I was messing with things. Have a plutonium. The radioactive sushi belt. Let's see. I think this just needs power then. Oh no! There's a diamond mine here. That is unfortunate. That is all in the way. It's fine. We'll make it work. Oh, and there's another. Jeez. Well, that turned into a mess. Very quickly. Yeah, between a volcanic pipe here and an iron reserve here, this was basically the worst place to try to put a rail setup. Let's signal this. Not that I expect us to need lots of trains coming through here, but, like, it doesn't hurt to have a couple of extra rail segments. All right. So there's pure sand. This needs to be the same thing, but coal dust, I think. And, you know, facing the opposite direction. And then high pressure furnaces, making silicon. That's going to be one of these and two of these per machine, plus power. All right. And we do make a lot of coal dust, and it just gets disposed of. The thing that I'm concerned about is the pure sand in this setup. And then 2 a second. That is just a normal outserter. Except... there we go. To a pickup station. And that is like so and like so. And I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, this is still trying to buffer sand, which is fine. But these should start turning on as we get our first belt out of this. Cool. And that, as all of these turn on, this should become a full saturated belt of silicon. Not quite there yet, but very close. Cool. Not that that is a limiting factor for anything right now. Oop, this is... oh! I messed this up. All right. When I put in the power plants, I didn't get the trichlorosilane wired through correctly, which probably does mean that I voided a little bit of it, but hopefully the loop will still balance correctly. But for now, it has been another hour, which means Twitch is about to run another stupid ad. I do run just the one ad break an hour, just long enough to keep pre-roll ads turned off. But I recommend taking the opportunity to get some water, stretch your legs, take care of yourselves as a human being. I am going to get myself a little more water as well. And when we return, we'll fix this build. I'll see everybody shortly. Welcome back, everyone. So yeah, when I squished everything in here, these coal power plants ended up too close on the top, so this pipe didn't connect. So I think we can just go through the bottom. Easy fix. I just forgot that I had disconnected it. There we go. Hopefully everything is close enough to balanced. I'm not sure. We may have voided a little bit of something, but we have a little bit of space for buffers in the whole system, so Hopefully it all works okay. Yeah, all of these are running now, though. So that is a lot more electronic-grade silicon. If only our rayon could keep up with it. Or not rayon, aramids. Molybdenum is halted again. Excellent. On nitrogen? No. I refuse to believe that we're not making enough nitrogen. What? Yeah, we have heaps of nitrogen. At a high priority station, no less. And there's a train en route, but like, this should have gotten a delivery a long time ago. I wonder if the train limit was just set too low. Yeah. I think my blueprint for fluid stations still has a default train limit of 1 for some reason. And that is, I think, part of the issue. Although it does look like we got a molybdenum delivery to somewhere. Was that somewhere aramid? Probably not. Oh, no, it is. It's on the way. So, like, that's good. That'll at least turn aramid back on, but... Science is running, but it's running slowly, and I know why it's running slowly. Let's go over to where we do science. And I am going to make some changes. And by make some changes, what I really mean is I'm going to build a sushi belt, because sushi belts are the solution to all Factorio problems. But the issue here, the way this is set up, where it like shoves packs down into this, means that only half of these basically run at a time. And that's silly. So we're gonna change this so that it's all running on one big sushi belt instead. I think I still need basically this same layout for the sake of the vat brain functioning. But what we do... Also, we're running out of vat brain cartridges too, which is less than ideal as well. All right. And... I'm just turning around all the inserters so that everything points down instead of up. No? Did I not? Those are all down. Those are not. There we go. Did I do them all now? I hope I did them all now. All right. So this goes out. Oh, no, 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 no. All of these get connected. And this is read, hold all belts. And then these each need to be enable, disable when they are above or below a certain threshold. So we'll say chemical science is less than 10. Whoops. No, wrong thing. This one is enable, disable when chemical science is less than 10. This one when pi psi 2 is less than 20. What are our numbers? 1, 2, 3, 6, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 30, 60, and 100. We go up past here because we're going to be able to get all the rest of our science packs out. And then we have input inserters on each row here. There we go. That should be more or less correct. And then hopefully this means that more of these will, yeah, as packs get picked up, they will get dropped by these guys. And obviously, it seems like right now, all the packs are getting picked up by the right-hand machines, but as they loop around, we will see them get picked up by the left-hand machines too. There we go. And slowly but surely, science will turn on. Let's see if this, well, I don't know if it'll get up to full speed. Full speed would be double what we were running before. But it would be cool to see it at least over 10 SPM. Ooh, a whole column has turned on now, and the next column is starting to get... There we go. So yeah, we should be running much better now. Up above 10, up to 9. There's 10. Oh, there's 9. I think the whole thing... What does this run at? So each of these is 1/2 SPM. And there's 16 of them, so that's 8 SPM plus Vat Brains. What's the prod boost from Vat Brains? I've already forgotten. 25% on top of 8 SPM. Okay, so we should be getting like 10 SPM. And this shows 12. Oh, because we also have a 50% speed boost. That's okay. So it's really 1.5 divided by 120 times 8. Which is 12 SPM plus our buff. So we should see 15 SPM, I think. Okay. And we're up at 12. So maybe I just can't do math. $12 SPM is fine. I'm just confused. But I'm always confused. That's my baseline state of existence. So I guess not all of these are running. So there we go. Now they're all running. Yeah, and it peaks at 15 SPM. Okay. So yeah, I think our theoretical max is 15. But just, you know, throughput limitations and other things, feeding science packs into these things. Awesome. But that's great. That is nice to see. Whatever. I'll take 12.5 SPM or whatever we're actually getting. That is... Could not find a train with enough capacity. Wow. All right. Apparently we need more fluid trains. So let's deploy some fluid trains. That is a quick and easy thing to do. They're up here somewhere. Engines. Fluid tanks. Ooh, I don't really have a lot of space to deploy them, though. Okay, other depots are not as full as that one. Let's head down here. Cool. Those will augment the... What is this? That's a problem. is what that is. Okay. That, a couple extra signals here should let trains stack up a little further inside this line. Most of the trains moving through here should move in and out very quickly. These are all very high throughput stations, but just the same, there's a lot of traffic coming to this. So I should probably make that just part of the standard blueprint so that every build has a couple of spots for trains to wait, but that's fine. All right, let's look at Vat Brain cartridges, because I noticed those were running low. They are blocked on nothing. They're running. I'm gonna bet they weren't, though. Oh yeah, look at that over the past 10 hours. Turning on and off all the time. Is that brains that have been the limit with that, though? Like, I don't know why it turned off. It's gotta be brains, right? Guts, jerky, chitin, brains? Oh yeah, we're out of brains, everybody. Alright. Yep, I really do just need to pick an animal and make heaps of it, and then absolutely destroy it. Unfortunately. Maybe that's Augs, maybe we uprate Augs, and then we can change this build, but... certainly right now... We're having trouble with a lot of things. Lard, though, for once in our lives, not a bottleneck. We finally are caught up on lard. But brains are the issue. Where do we use brains besides vat brains? That's a question. Oh, they go to science. Yes. And I did say that I wanted to prioritize this. I told it to prioritize this. This station is vat brains. What's this one? Oh, neuroprocessors. Yeah. And these are currently requesting brains as well. So, yeah. I think the issue is our we're just not making enough brains. I will add that to the to-do list. But other than that, how are things doing? Meat is experiencing a little bit of a backup. But it is making its way through. Yeah, vat brains are turned off. No brains. And that vat brain cartridge build is bigger than what we need for just one vat brain, I think. I think I scaled it. Let me double check that. Yes. So even if this doesn't run full time, we should still get enough vat brain cartridges. It's just a matter of hoping the deliveries end up here before we run out of these cartridges. And like worst case, some science runs without prod. But 25% prod is huge, so I would really like to not lose that prod. But yeah, this seems like it's working much better than the previous previous build was. So I'm happy about that. Silicon wafers are running. We did finally get Aramid over. Yay. New silicon build, I can't even see, so hopefully that's working. Electron grade silicon is not totally backed up, but really close. Did I do my math wrong? $14 times 0.2 is 2.8. Oh, you know what? I bet this was totally backed up and is now just slowly draining what it can from the belts. That makes sense. As it refills this. Cool. So we're making lots of that now. We should get this expanded to that 50% bigger. I just need a couple of automated factories for that. So let's head back to... Let's head back to the mall and grab those factories. Oh, we have the upgraded mining doodles as well. That is not the worst thing to make, not the best either. But that'll certainly improve our throughput. Mine's twice as much ores with the same food. Yeah, okay. So we want to get these guys in as soon as we get them, as well as upgrading our Nexoid processing, because our Nexoid processing is still, like, literally shoving it in furnaces, which feels so primitive. We are actually caught up on Nexoid right now, though, which is shocking to me. What? We have no fuel. Excuse me? Excuse me? Well, that's a problem. Yeah, that's a real problem. We are making enough petroleum gas for the MIBC. Right? Is this fully backed up? This is fully backed up, which means titanium should not be a problem. Yeah, titanium is running great. Oh, titanium is running so great. Yeah, we're gonna be buffering lots of molten titanium soon. Delightful. But we have no fuel. Okay. I don't love that. Fluid index. Sort by fuel value. Yeah. I mean, these are all the ones we've been using, right? Pressurized hydrogen. So 10 to 1 plus steam plus gasoline. So what's our 1.25 times 50 is our output. Our input is 50 there plus... It does technically gain some fuel value. Just barely. That doesn't seem worth it. I mean, my options are more diesel or presumably kerosene, right? Because, like, for more diesel, that means more aromatics. And I guess in theory, we could do another tar processing build, which would give us more gasoline and more aromatics. But, like, do we have a reasonable way of making kerosene at this point from all of our new oil processing that we didn't have before? Heavy oil to kerosene. That's 80 megajoules to... I mean, that's a fuel value loss. Low distillates to kerosene, however, is a fuel value... It's got to be a fuel value gain. 40 megajoules to... Yeah. 225 megajoules? That's a huge fuel value gain. Okay. I don't know what I'm currently doing with my low distillates, though. Arcod Stage 3 turn crude oil directly into kerosene with some magical bees. That is not until Pi Science 3, though. Alright. All the rest of this is going to be... Oh, no, we got one other that we can get. Get relatively soon. Fuel production stage 2. Nexlet and olefins to diesel. Oh, which probably pairs nicely with this recipe. So that's like methanol and CO2 to a lot of diesel. Kerosene and diesel from hydrogen and crude oil. Yeah. This seems like it also gives us quite a few options. Everything goes through olefins, though, which... I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're making not a lot of them. So what do we got? Syngas to light oil. All right. Naphtha. We do run this. This is part of our hydrofluoric acid void. Residual gas. I think we're doing this one as well. Shale oil. Oh, from desulfurization. Interesting. Okay. That's potentially a useful recipe. Yeah, we unlock a huge amount of oil processing soon, it looks like. Because, like, right now, what am I doing with stripped distillates? I don't even know. Probably right to benzene. We are going to need cumene, I think, for some things. I don't remember. I don't want to figure out a whole bunch of new petrochemical stuff tonight, though. Ugh. I might call it here, because I feel like everything else we can work on is starting a new big project. And I don't really feel up to starting a new big project at this point. But science has been running well. Well, no, it just stalled again. Yeah, there's definitely some throughput issues around this build. But oh well. It's good enough. It's running faster than it was running before, and that's what matters. Okay, I'm gonna call it here for the night. Next time we have to figure out a couple of things. Check on what's it called? Antimony. Should we start using peroxide? And the important one for next time is going to be figure out new liquid fuels. We are running out again. All right, that'll be next episode. We will we'll have to figure out liquid fuels, which probably means like reevaluating our whole petrochemical everything. which we should do because we have a bunch of new tech, right? So, I mean, I've managed to keep all of my like petrochem builds very small in the grand scheme of things. So I'm not surprised we're running out of fuels because we just don't have that much infra for it. At any rate, thanks very much, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to my Twitch down in the description if you want to watch live. And there will not be a stream this Thursday. I said this at the start of the stream, but it is the Thanksgiving holiday in the US, so I'm taking the day off. So I will be back with Pi. I might do it for Friday's stream. I haven't decided yet. I'll see how I'm feeling. Otherwise, we'll be back with Pi next Tuesday. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you all next time.